Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malec, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and over-medicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
Hello, wellness seekers. Welcome to Friday. Welcome back to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm Maria Malec, your host. And this show, as a reminder, is about everything wellness, how to overcome an overprocessed, overmedicated, overstressed lifestyle. I like to introduce to you new ways to stay healthy and sustain your wellness above the wellness line. You're really going to enjoy today. I have a special guest, but they're all special. Kelly Atkins. Our title today is Rhythm and Joy Fusion. Elevate your wellness with dance. Kelly is a DJ, and she has started Ecstatic danceglobal.org, where she blends a world of electronic consciousness, sacred music blended with dubstep, club, rap, techno, house. She'll explain it all. And I'm super excited about this because if you need a way to get back in touch with yourself, be childlike, express your inner child, you're going to want to hear today. Welcome, Kelly. So happy to have you.
Hi there. So grateful to be here. Thank you.
Let's get into it. I met Kelly, about 6 months ago, and I just wanted to explore more with myself, doing something new. I was tired of the same old, same old. You know, everyone's like, oh, when you want to get in touch with yourself, meditate, do breath work, which are all phenomenal things. And those are things that you bring into your practice. But several months ago, I experienced ecstatic dance for the first time. Still not sure about that, but the one thing I do love is silent disco on the beach. We live in beautiful Florida, and Kelly offers twice a month, maybe more, silent disco on the beach. And it's a phenomenal experience. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your gifts and offering. And tell us a little about your background and how you got into this.
Okay. Well, I guess I love music and I love dance. I was born when I was very young. I would dance with my sisters. And I was one of those women that would go to bars to dance. And yeah, I didn't want all the smoke and I didn't want to drink, but I wanted to dance. And I knew that the dancing, when I came home, did something for me that made me feel a lot clearer, a lot healthier, a lot brighter. So that was probably in my teen years. And then I started getting more attuned to my body and dance as a way to express emotions that were difficult to talk about or even name. Dance gave me an opportunity to open my mind in different ways that I had, you know, our brain and our body sort of form each other. So dance opens that Pandora's box of all the possible ways that I could start to think and learn to love my body. In my early years, I was diagnosed with bulimia in my 20s, and dance was definitely the medicine that helped me connect my mind and my body and my feelings and make more sense of things that I was noticing going on in my life.
I love that you call it medicine, because everyone thinks of medicine as a pill or something that needs to be prescribed from a doctor. Yesterday, you posted a quote on social media. I just want to read it. That it really impacted me, and I felt this was a great segue into our conversation. It's dance is not something you are good at or not. Dance is a core human behavior, just like singing, touching, loving, praying. Surrendering to rhythm, receiving the impulses, and letting the body move freely. We are reclaiming our intrinsic belonging here on earth in our direct communion with Source. And this is from Shamali Arda. Did I say that correctly or close
Yes,
enough?
yes, yes, you did.
So
Yeah,
I
I
love
love.
this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love the way that she describes dance as being something inherent within us that we don't have to go and take. We don't have to learn it. We don't. It's not like another thing we have to go to school to learn or take a class to learn to dance. That it's actually kind of unlearning and allowing yourself to be present. And to me, that's love. That's loving the moment and being present.
And I also think it's praise and worship to our
So
Creator.
much, so much.
And I mean, you can't hear music and either tap your foot, move your body, sway back and forth. It is intrinsic in who we are.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about introducing dance as medicine is, what are the benefits of dance
Yeah, they're so huge. They've
physically?
done so many studies on the that dancing turns on more of the brain than any other activity at all. Like being on a treadmill, exercising, being social, all of those things are really good for living a long life and turning on different parts of our brain. But dance includes all of those and really stimulates our ways of moving functionally as well. You know, if we a lot of the ways that we learn to work out to stay healthy are linear, where dance has all these
Mm.
movements that nothing else can really mimic with the way we can move our hips uniquely, individually in our own body. There's not a machine that we can get into that moves our hips that way. So it's very functional as well as integrative with the brain and the body.
Okay, that's the physical. Now, emotionally, you spoke how it was your medicine during your
Yeah.
teens. So, explain a little more about how it affects us emotionally, and how. And I do know that it does help us release stuck emotions in our fascia.
Yeah, exactly. You know, for me, I, in my family that I grew up in, there was a range of emotions that were sort of acceptable and ones that weren't acceptable. And I've read that that's pretty much every family has sort of their norms of emotions that are like, okay, so we can be in these six, we're in a lot, but we're not in some of these other ones. Well, I was one of those kids that had all these other ones that didn't know what to do with them. And one thing I naturally learned was to, and that's part of the bulimia, was to push my body to try to get the emotion out, like to try to push it or
Mm.
force it. And it was actually creating pain. So I would get into the cycle of creating pain in my body and then go back into, well, what am I feeling now? And then creating pain in my body. And what am I feeling now? So it took dance that was pleasurable to allow and soften emotions to actually move, that I didn't have to logically think about their name or inhibit or perform. They just moved on their own when I was ready. And
Mm.
I laugh sometimes when I first started offering dances. I cried so much for like the first 3 years that I'm surprised anyone kept coming. That I think it
Oh,
was just sort of like a shedding of different things in my body that needed to just keep releasing. You know, grief is a big emotion that is essential to be able to feel and release for health.
do you feel that you are more forgiving because of this dance practice?
I'm
What
definitely
what
more
kind
accepting. I,
Okay, okay.
I'm definitely more accepting, and I think like forgiving. You mean like to in as far as relationships, or forgiving to myself, or
Exactly.
both?
Yes, all
Hmm.
of the above.
Yeah, I'm. I practice being acceptance is a regular practice as I age, for sure. My
Mhm.
body's changing a lot, and um, the idea of what a dancer's body is supposed to look like, you know, all those thoughts. I have to catch myself if I get caught into that kind of dialogue. And I'm blessed with having people of all different ages that dance with us. And they remind me oftentimes the
Mhm.
beauty of the way the body moves, and that it doesn't have to look any certain way, that it's grace, it's graceful, it's a miracle. It's a regular practice for me to return to every single time I dance, to remember acceptance and forgiveness in that way.
What kind of results have you seen with the people who come to your dance studio? Are there long-term people? Do they come for a season or to work through things? Tell us about your clientele.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So it's so funny. I would say in every dance, there are a few long-term people. There are a few people who are seasonal. They're visiting down here for a season, or they've just heard about it from about the online dances, and they're there for a while. And there are others who are just like one time. They come in and it's a catharsis. So I love that it's dynamic that way, and I never really know what to expect, except there is some kind of balance in it with it being so mixed.
Yeah, I was super curious, and that first night that I came, I remember there was a gentleman who said, "Hey, let's just, I know a lot of people who were dancing were kind of entangling and entwining their bodies, and I didn't know anybody. You know, kind of this social distancing programming from the past couple of years was ingrained in my mind. And I remember this guy came up to me and he said, let's just kind of dance with our hands." And I was just like, all right, whatever that means, and then when you take your brain out of it, then you just start moving and flowing. And then we got a little too close for comfort, in that was a little more than I wanted to express. But everyone there seemed to be so open to whatever your boundaries are, or whatever you needed. And I really just loved how everyone was just so open and respectful of each other.
Yeah. We've been every single dance we set up agreements around respect and around being present and noticing what each other's boundaries are with their bodies. And
Mm,
I really am hoping that we keep building this culture of consent, especially after COVID,
mm,
and
yeah.
realizing that everyone has their own ideas of why they come. Some want to dance completely on their own without anyone bothering them in any way at all, and that's perfectly acceptable. Sometimes I'm in that space, and other
Mhm,
times I can be in a space where I want someone dancing beside me or near me, or someone to witness me. It's different all the time.
mhm.
So the more we can notice some of those subtleties with each other, I think that it's the space itself that opens the potential for the healing and the transformations that I've seen happen.
Yeah, I like that you said people are open. It seems that today, especially, a lot of people are closed in their heart, they're closed in their mind. There is no coherence, like you talked about. And I think even just dipping your toe in, and I remember that first night I did a lot of observing.
Yes.
And I think that that's a really good way to start if
Yeah.
you're embarrassed to move, or you have a lot of body shame, or you're not comfortable in your own skin. Do you
Yeah.
find that the people who come consistently just blossom?
Absolutely. There's the ones, because it does take, I think it's on any given day, all of us are in different states. So it takes somewhat of a
Mm,
regular practice to see it as a mirror for how we've grown. And I think growth is a spiral. It's not a trajectory. And that
mm,
when you come consistently, you can see that some days, and there's even a collective, like as a group, we've gone through things. And sometimes as a group, we're dealing with grief. And it's just like, okay, so
mm,
as a group, we're going to feel this together, and you can feel it in the room, and there's an acceptance of like, that's what it is, and there's still joy in that. There's still, we're doing it together, and it's a real thing, versus like something that might feel like hype or not real. When it's embodied and it's real and in the room and we're acknowledging it, that helps things
mm.
move, I think.
I love that. Well, we are going to segue into a commercial break shortly, and when we come back, we'll talk about where dance has led you.
Okay,
We'll be
sounds
right
good.
back. Thank you.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, Wellness Seekers. We're here with Kelly Atkins and Ecstatic Dance Global. It's a really beautiful conversation. Kelly, I don't know if you can already surmise, she's a very kind, serene, calm person. I was just saying to her, even in the through the computer, I just feel her calm and beautiful presence. So I hope you feel it too. Kelly, I know I'm a woman and mostly women attend your events, but tell us about the men.
Yeah. So with Ecstatic Dance, we have about 50% men, and sometimes there's more men than women as of late. So it's kind of an interesting thing when I watch that, and I think that it gives. It's interesting to hear the men, how the men have evolved. I think the men that have been coming regularly have had a rapid evolvement with their body and transformation with movement and dance, especially as of late, like speed dial. Yeah, they're starting.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say they're developing more compassion for their bodies and for women, and for respecting their bodies and the space and women. There's a lot of that happening.
I think that most people think men don't have emotions or hide them all the time. And I believe that they're searching just like us women are searching for solutions, are searching to heal the inner child or, whatever trauma they have overcome. And I think it's really fascinating that you have such a large percentage of men.
Yeah.
I think the first night I was there were more men than women.
And it's fascinating to hear men sit in a circle with women, but sit in a circle and put their hands on their heart and talk about their feelings. It's really beautiful. And oftentimes there's tears and a real sense of vulnerability, that encourage in that vulnerability. And it's really nice to see that.
And it doesn't exemplify weakness. I think to me, it exemplifies strength. Like they're confident and comfortable in their own skin where they can express it, especially in front of a bunch of women,
Yeah. There's a transcendence or a growth that I think brings us together with more ease. like we understand other's language a little bit more.
Well, now the way when you say that, especially sitting in the circle, I'm thinking of tribes and how they always gathered in circles and how there was so much dancing and music and singing. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. What
it
do you think
serves
about that?
something. It serves something in our bodies that I don't know if there's a word for it. Maybe you call it serves your soul, but it feels like nourishment to me, almost like food. And maybe it's
Mm,
that it's a ritual, so it's something that it's intentional. We're saying we're here, and we each have intentions, and it's a loving, safe space to dance. Where if you go to dance at a bar, there can be a lot of different things happening that don't feel
mm.
safe.
Right,
So it's a
right.
whole different feel.
Yeah. Gosh, my head's reeling with a whole bunch of different things. So you have two boys, correct?
I do. Yeah.
So
I have a
how
20
has
year
all
old.
this affected them?
Yeah. They are pretty amazing. Growing up, I danced through both pregnancies and danced with them with me in classes that I taught a more choreographed dance. Probably 5 days a week, they would come with me and they would dance. We danced, had dance breaks in the house all the time. And they were always seeing me learn choreography, and they loved it. Now, as they got to be teenagers, and now if you speak to them, my older 20-year-old is just getting back to dance and he's learning country line dancing. And I'm
Oh,
so
neat.
proud of him. Yeah. And I have to keep reminding him, you know how to dance. You've danced your whole life. So it's a message that I think has to be reinstated again and again through different stages of life for men or for women. But they they think it's normal that I have a tribe. Like they get it that there's community and that dances are important and music is important. They get it when I go into my shell to create the music for an evening to not disturb me because I'm in a zone, and that's
Mhm.
important.
Yeah, and we're built for community. I
Yeah.
think with a lot of our technological advancements and with Zooms and, even doing this interview, there's, we need people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of our technology separates us and isolates us, and then we get used to that, and it's uncomfortable to actually be in a gathering of people. Honestly,
Yeah.
though, I don't like crowded places where there's not enough space around and you're kind of forced into a little tin can.
Yeah.
But community, community, community. And how big is your community?
Well, we have locally 150 people. You know, the local dances are small, but we have 150 people in our network that come at different times. And then we have about 100 people globally. From as far as we have a man and a family from Africa and Canada and Costa Rica and many states. And they're just solid dancers who show up online and hold that space so strongly. And then we have our on site dancers. We usually, have dances about 10 to 20 people here. Now, there are other communities of ecstatic dance in other places that have 100 to 200 people. And even North Carolina has a group that big. And it's beautiful, but it's also a very different experience, I'm told. So some who have come from the larger groups and come to visit us enjoy
Mm,
the
the
that they have more
intimacy.
space. Yeah, and there's more ease. There's less some energies to navigate in the room.
I love to hear that even though some of these communities are separate, there is a common goal. And I heard recently that if 33% of consciousness, collective consciousness, all started thinking in this same way, in community and kindness and respect, and we can literally change the world. We can literally flip the script on all the negativity and the sickness and disease and all the rampant emotions that everybody's trying to turn off. So it's very encouraging to hear that there's so many communities, and the whole global is wonderful.
Yeah.
Other
I just got
than
cold chills right
oh,
up and down my spine as you said that, because it's so much my passion,
awesome,
why I'm
awesome.
here
Yeah,
on earth.
as it is mine. And that's why we're here to spread the word. Other than ecstatic dance and silent disco, what other forms of dance, what other kinds of things are you involved in? You're a DJ. Is it just in your studio or, other things?
Okay, so there's also something called contact improv, and I wanted to talk about that because so when you did contact in ecstatic dance,
Okay.
that was a person who does contact improv who was inviting you with his hands to do a hand dance. Generally,
Right.
ecstatic dances, there's generally no touching unless very rare.
Oh,
Most people come to ecstatic
right,
dance and there's
right.
no touching. But it's kind of like a brother sister organization. Contact improv is usually right before ecstatic dance, and people who do contact improv will do it through ecstatic dance. So I hope that kind of makes sense that they are actually two separate things that are done
Oh, I
together,
didn't
and
know that.
they're whole communities. Contact improv has a huge all over the earth in different cities. They have groups and gatherings where they get together and just do contact with no music generally. It's just like
Oh,
a focused
wow.
meditation. Yeah. It's a really beautiful form, and it's very I'm going to say it people who practice it for a long time have a lot of love. Like there's just a real feeling of love around them. And so when there's contact improv in the room and it's done consensually with two people that want to do it, it adds an element of that love to the room that makes it diverse. So it kind of adds in some juiciness and energy into the room for everyone. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Um, yeah, I have to say I was a little tentative about that. And um, I guess you have to have a real understanding for that because I think some people could mistake the touching it as coming across in a sexual manner as
Yeah.
inappropriate. And I didn't witness anything like that. It was
Yeah.
kind of like each person wasn't the person, they were
Yes.
the movement. I mean, does that sound
That's exactly
weird
it. And
or
that's exactly the conundrum that I'm explaining over and over again to new people or that have never heard of contact improv. Sadly enough, for most of us, the only touch that we get when we get older can be sexual. That can be the one that we experience the most. Yet
right,
there's a mother, like a paternal father or mother touch. There's a childlike play and touch, or
right.
like how you touch an animal. So when we look at touch more as a meditation and open up to the possible ways we can touch, um, it is so healing. It's incredible. But there's a lot of the stories between men and women and sexual touch or sexual partner touch, tantra type
Hmm.
of thing. And that's a whole separate deal. And I'm like the
Okay.
mother hen, like that is not happening on my floor.
Okay. No, I think it's good to talk about. What about maybe someone who has experienced being violated? Do you
Yeah,
feel that this is a medicine for them to
absolutely.
open themselves up to other intimate relationships without it being traumatizing?
Yeah, there's there's been quite a few people interviewed about healing from sexual touch through contact and through ecstatic, just feeling comfortable to feel pleasure in your body. That's one of the harms that can come from trauma
Hmm.
is you lose that. So coming back into feeling comfortable, moving your hips and being in a space of other people and feeling comfortable enough to move around in a way that feels good is a healing practice. Now, in touch with someone else, like in contact, we practice boundaries, and even in ecstatic dance, boundaries all the time. Like, how far away do you want to be from people? How close do you want to be? Um, Contact can be eye contact. It can be sensing someone out of your peripheral vision, and that's it, and no more. So you get to
Okay.
play with that, and what I've noticed, especially after COVID, is that my body's reactions that it learned during COVID to stay so far away from people, I get to, when I feel strong, push it and get closer and breathe through it and relax
Mhm.
my body to get closer and remind myself I'm not in danger. And then I also get to nourish myself when I'm feeling like, no, you know what? I'm being really reactive and I just need to breathe and lay on my back and be in contact with the floor
Mm.
and nothing else. Everything else is too much. But it gives me the awareness to choose and to gradually over time keep pushing that edge.
Two things you said that I like is awareness. I think a lot of what people are going through today is they're so immersed in what's going on outside of us, how it's affecting us, and they're not becoming aware of themselves. They're kind of becoming aware of themselves as I don't even know if I'm explaining it right. Like a thing as opposed to a human breathing live person, and how our presence affects our environment. Awareness, you can ask my kids if someone says, "What's your mom's favorite word?" They all know to say awareness. Also, the other thing you said, play. I don't think adults play enough. You know, working out, um, going on vacation. I'm talking about literally scheduling play in. We're going to come back in a couple of minutes. We have another break, and then we'll talk about dance as play medicine. And we'll be right back. Thank you.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, Wellness Seekers. We're talking with Kelly Atkins of Ecstatic Dance Global. I have been thinking of what do you think are the quantum benefits? The benefits, I kind of talked a little bit about that, collective consciousness. What are the things on the quantum level that we might not be aware of, or how it is actually affecting us and our environment? Dance. Do you have an opinion on that?
I know that when I go in and facilitate a dance, I feel like we're entering a microcosm of the macrocosm, and it's like a field. a field of potential. So I can notice things that are happening and energetics that are in the room, and I can play with them. I can go opposite them. Everyone could be flat out down on the ground, and I can go down also and surrender into, okay, so this is what we're feeling as a group. And do I want to engage with it and go with it, or do I want to go the opposite? And does it affect anybody? And it actually, it's helped me to realize that I do have power, that I don't have to get sucked into things. I can notice them and I can honor them and respect them, but I can also do something completely different. And that doesn't mean I'm leaving the room and saying that's not my thing. I'm able to be in it with everything else happening. Yeah.
So you're a true leader. You're reading the room. You're picking up what people need. You're giving back something that people can play off of. This is, I didn't realize how amazing this is. Everyone just thinks about dancing and, it's just a fun thing, but there's so much more. You're adding to people's confidence and self-esteem and personal expression. I think in this social media culture, there's a lot of copycats and a lot of, I want to be like this one, I want to be like that one, instead of saying, I wonder who I am. Like, who am I beneath this physical meat suit we're wearing? I really love that. I love how perceptive you are and can deliver that and counterbalance what's going on.
Thank you. I found so much healing personally with authentic movement, which is a practice of its own, similar to what all the other methods that we talked about. But so when you're dancing, you don't have to be in rhythm with the music. You can be in a place of awareness of recognizing we all have our sort of dance kind of thing. Many of us do, like step touch or sway the chest, or, we all have parts of our body that like we'll go to first, that are our go-to. Sure. And awareness will point that out, but then we can say, well, what else is there? And if we continually follow ourselves with what else is there, not what anyone else is doing, there's this beautiful sensation in the body that opens, that in yoga, they call it the soma. It's like this innate healing that the body knows how to repattern itself. It knows how to realign. And if we just hold that space for ourselves, it's through the authenticity that is unveiled.
Okay, so that says to me that dance is information. Yes. And our body responds to the information.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is really beautiful. I just love the thought of that. So where has ecstatic dance taken you? Have you gone international? Do you go to any festivals or collective groups to reflect this energy of the medicine?
I'm still in the unknown about where it's taking me. I've met the most incredible DJs and facilitators from other states. And through COVID, I met people who were somatic healers in Israel and dancers in Germany, people that are so passionate and have had such long, deep journeys with dance themselves. So I've met the best people I have ever met in my life through dance. And I hope I can continue to meet cool people. For myself, I'm probably a not traditional DJ. Like, I am not cool, and I don't try to be cool. I do have a DJ name. Cool. Thank you. Well, I want to give a new look to cool. I'm not a festival person. I'm a homebody, and I raise my kids, and I believe so much in dance that is definitely my track, and my passion is to raise consciousness. But I'm also old enough that I'm not on the treadmill with my career. I'm sort of fading, and I'm wanting to fade, and hopefully pass on some knowledge and maybe some experiences that will help others as I fade.
So take everyone from beginning to end, because we kind of have a ceremony, if you will, to start the dance and then how you close down the dance.
So we have people online that join with the links on the website, And I always tell them to prepare their space, clear the clutter, light a candle, set the intention that this is a place of non-distraction. And then as people enter the studio, they enter in barefoot. So connection to the earth through your body. And I ask people to activate mindfulness. We do a 30-minute meditation before, and it can be anyone's meditation, whether you do a mantra or whether you're sitting still or you're just breathing and walking, whatever it is, 30 minutes to clear and get more still. It takes a period of time for us to really be here, especially in a group setting or trying something new. And then we sit in circle and we share our names or what we want to be called that day. I always invite people to have different names and an intent, asking them what brought them in that day, what is most important on their heart. And we share. And then I go back to the microphone, and with the online group and the on-site group, I guide us into some kind of a somatic practice, whether it's breath work or developmental stages. It might be an awareness practice with the group as a whole. There's a fun exercise as a group where you'll have a certain amount of people standing and a certain amount of people moving on the floor, and it always has to stay those same numbers. So you have to be aware of your own body, but also how many people are standing and your own intuition of when it's your own time to stand up and be part of the standing group. So different games like that are fun to just stimulate a little more energy.
Sure. And from awareness again.
And awareness, that's the big thing. And then I start the music, and the music is set slow to begin with, just to help support people's nervous systems. And it'll go into more rhythm and more beats. And then the beats increase to like a chaotic, like a peak of a wave. And then it'll come back down. And that's called the lyrical, or the time that you get to dance a new story after you've gone through this journey. And then it goes back to stillness again. At the very end, we come together, and it's called harvesting, where we sit in circle, and it's a formal, we're speaking to each other in community. So it's a different conversation than like you and I are having. And that itself is a learning thing for people to learn. Like, how do I speak when I want to be heard? And what is it I want to say? And what do I not want to say? And the difference between that and speaking, calling people out or naming people, there's a whole different feel. It's almost like, for me, I'm sitting with my ancestors and my teachers, and they're there to hear what I want to say. So I want to choose the nuggets that really stand out. So there's like this reflection part where we're using a part of our brain to reflect and reform it into a crystal of how we want to take forward the gifts of the dance.
Yeah, I really, even with the silent disco, because, well, I guess some people are singing, but no one's talking to each other. Most people aren't even looking at other people, but there is a respect of the space, and it just seems like everybody gets along, whether you know a person or not. And I also notice a lot of smiling, a lot of nodding and acknowledging, which many of us don't get throughout the day, especially those who work from home and they work alone. You know, you have your pets and everything, but I really believe we need human contact and connection. And that affects our environment. One question I wanted to ask about the music, do you have music that has a certain frequency? Do you know about if you should be elevating frequency or, chilling the frequency? How do you work the music?
So on my DJ equipment, there's a place where I can choose the harmonics in a song, and the harmonics resonate through different chakras or energy centers in the body. From a real basic point of view, I feel it in my body. So real bass sounds I feel in my feet, and I don't want to have a whole hour and 20 minutes of just bass, or it's going to bring everybody's energy down to the earth and nowhere else. So I mix up genres as well as harmonics, but I follow what I feel in my body. And it's partly intuition too. Like, sometimes I'll just get this intuitive hit of a word, or a song will show up for me, or I'll go seeking a certain harmonic, and it's not me, it's beyond me. It's from a place of, it feels like a spirit directive, and I'm learning more and more to surrender to that, and I pull that in. So the artistry of creating the music is so much fun. I also do it live. So when I'll create music that's sort of a framework of where I want to go. But then when I'm watching people and feeling the room, almost always there's at least one song that I switch out or I go on a search for to bring in. And they can be songs that are like cartoons or songs that remind us of childhood, mixed in with rap, mixed in with house, mixed in with global tribal beats. You know, we go to all these different places, and it's just to mix us up. So we stimulate something, and then something else comes forward, and that helps the fascia of the body to move dynamically. So we get out of like our routine dance.
Do you find it's harder to DJ on the beach because we're not like in an enclosed space? It's just like kind of going out there.
You know, I don't look at it as harder. I look at it as it's very different. The cool thing with the beach, it's like sometimes it feels like the birds and like the dolphin or whatever we see, or the sunset colors. I feel like I'm relating. Those are my dance partners, and so. Oh my God, it's so, I can't explain it, but maybe it's that quantum thing. Like sometimes music will come on and the birds are absolutely moving to the music. You know, they're coming in when the sounds are getting louder and bolder, and then they're going away and I can't help but think, and I know this from my pet cat, that when I'm dancing and I'm feeling joyful, my cat will come towards me and want to get really close to me. So vibrationally, I know there's something to this with nature.
I just got chills when you said that, like literally full body. We're going to get ready for just one more break, you guys. This is going so fast. I hope everybody is loving this because I feel so much love and joy just talking about this. And when we come back, I'll share with you my own experience. And I really want you to connect with Kelly because Kelly or another ecstatic dance or silent disco so you can experience it for yourself. I shouldn't assume that everyone's living in Florida. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you so much.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back, Wellness Seekers. We're about to wrap up this beautiful interview with Kelly Atkins of ecstaticdanceglobal.org. If you want to check out her website, I wanted to share my experiences with the silent disco. I'm so happy that it started in the summer because when we were dancing, we were allowed to go in the water, obviously, as long as we didn't get our headphones wet. And I just remember tuning into one of the channels and literally watching the sunset. And, my body was moving in the water naturally. I wasn't even moving. But then when I was on the sand and we had the whole beach to move, I think there's a pretty far range with the headphones, and you could go off and dance by yourself. Like you said, there's just such a freedom. And if you get out of your thinking mind and you close your eyes so you don't see other people, you don't compare yourself to other people dancing, and you just literally move with the music, you'll increase flexibility, which I have found it's a great workout. It's a great release from whatever you're experiencing in your life. And it's self-care. And it's an hour and a half out of your day. You come, you do your thing, and then you go, you feel renewed, refreshed. You reclaim your personhood. That's how I feel. So, Kelly, is there anything that you'd love to, lasting words you'd like to share about your beautiful gift?
Thank you. One thing I know is that for people that this thing of like I can't dance or being in a group dancing, it's a big deal. It takes a little courage, and I want to acknowledge that and encourage the thought of what would love do here. Like asking yourself that if you start to feel stuck, and even placing a hand on your heart or your belly and breathing, that is a dance. So if you show up and that's all you do, or maybe you lay on the ground and do that the whole time, yet that's still a dance, and you're still there, and you're still, in fact, sometimes those can be really the most powerful dances where you just go into your imagination and breathe and be present to what is stimulated from the music.
Present. That's presence and awareness. Those are two big takeaways for me, and doing this for you. Because when you do things for yourself, you're actually doing it for everybody else in your life, whether it's a stranger or your family or your coworkers. And everybody, please visit ecstaticdanceglobal.org. Come down to Lido Key in Florida if you're local to us, and just experience it. I think the next event is Monday, March 11th. And Kelly does great marketing, so you won't miss it. And, turn on the notifications. And Kelly, I just want to thank you so much for being here, because you have enriched my life. And I'm happy to meet you and your community. And if you're looking for a community, if you're looking for girlfriends or something to do with your girlfriends or your family, you've got to try it. You really do. It will do your soul, your mind, everything so good. So thank you so much, Kelly, for being here.
Thank you.
I want to let you know, next week we have another wonderful guest, Shanaz Soni. We're going to be talking about the quantum being. You're really going to want to tune in to next week. And if you want to contact me or work with me, you could find me all over at Taking Healthy Back with Maria, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I try and keep it all the same. Heal.me is an app you can also find me on, and find the other services that I have: cooking classes, retreats, masterminds, everything wellness, my friends. Anything to elevate you, build, nurture, and support your life in every way, because you affect everybody and everything in your environment. So we want to help keep you above the wellness line so that you know how to self-regulate and that you can really enjoy this life that you were created to have. It's our birthright. So thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you next week. And if you'd love to be a guest, feel free to contact me. And I'm also looking for sponsors that I can help get your wellness products, information, and knowledge out there to benefit everyone. So thank you guys. I'm just a mom bringing you goodness. Peace until next time. Thank you.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control. Right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.